There are actually two parts to this sort of quote unquote failure narrative of Reconstruction. And the first part is the one put forward by the defeated Confederates and their supporters. This was part of this sort of lost cause narrative or this lost cause mythology after the Civil War. It said that the war wasn't about slavery, it was only about civil rights. But the lost cause narrative also has a Reconstruction component to it, which claimed that white Northerners had unfairly punished white Southerners by putting them, quote, under the rule of these ignorant Black people. And they falsely claimed that, emancipation, civil and political rights were wasted on Black people. And part of that narrative also goes into this claim that ignorant Black people squandered their freedom by pressing for civil and political rights. And the sort of last part of that narrative is that white Southerners had no choice but to form into groups like the Ku Klux Klan in order to restore their honor and take back control. Now, none of that is based in fact, but it plays into the stories that most white Americans would accept and allow white Southerners to install Jim Crow. The second thread to that history, or to that sort of narrative, is offered by professional historians from the last 50 years. Now, these scholars are acknowledging Reconstruction as this revolutionary experiment in expanding American freedom and democracy. These historians, they use the narrative or the language of failure to describe federal officials' failure to enforce the Reconstruction Amendments and Civil Rights Acts, especially when it comes to protecting African Americans' rights. But historians, when they use the language of failure, they don't always say that the federal government failed to protect African Americans' rights. So we get this shorthand of Reconstruction failing. And so these two narratives kind of converge, right? And so people, they think that Reconstruction just collapses on its own. And when you tell history in the passive voice, you miss a lot of the actual actors and a lot of the nuance at play. And so I wanted to challenge that by centering African Americans' journey in from slavery to freedom, to show everything that they achieved, and the fact that white extremists attacked them for their very success. And it's in attacking them and destabilizing and sort of tearing down everything that they built that they were able to get the system of Jim Crow segregation up and off the ground in order to roll back all of the progress African Americans made after they gained their freedom.